It's been already 1 year since we launched REMORE into early access. Today, I'd like to talk about the journey so far, as well as the road ahead. In early access, we have received a lot of positive feedback that the core gameplay is great as a tactics game. That was the most important and the biggest achievement. Most of the feedback has been requesting more content, of course, adding more stages, a more diverse set of characters, and a wider range of enemy types. So, over the last year, we've been working hard on this. The first issue we tried to fix was the linearity. Previously, the player had to just follow a set path through the 7 stages we created. We thought in this structure, it was difficult to embrace diversity of player patterns. We decided to change the background concept to a city layout, where players could choose their own path. The first area, the Pleasure District, will have around 40 stages. And as the development progresses, we will implement the guild, military, and religious districts, showing off diverse features of the city. To give players the feeling that they are really exploring the city, we have implemented a real-time movement system outside enemy encounters. Also, all stages are now connected and have branching pathways. When an enemy shows up, the game enters turn-based mode, but there is a pre-combat feature that we call the sneak phase, positioning carefully before the creatures spot us, then deciding whether to ambush them or charging in, considering pros and cons of our party members, the characters.
In early access, we had 3 playable characters: William, the Knight Errant, Dermot the Outsider, and Edwin, the Young Militia. They each had their own basic concept, but the player did have some freedom in how they leveled them up. Since then, we've been adding more survivors, and now we are up to 8 playable characters. The 3 early access characters also have been reworked, so they'll feel fresh even if you've used them before. All of these characters have a unique tactical role, but we want the player to have freedom in how they build on that role, or even shift the build in another direction if they like. For example, you might want a character who can defend allies under attack, maybe a character who can get the jump on an enemy with acrobatics, or a stealthy assassin who picks them off from the shadows. How the player mixes and matches these characters and their abilities really keeps things interesting, and allows for a lot of tactical options and gameplay variety.
Enemies have new attack patterns and behaviors, so we had to develop new player strategies to deal with these new threats. As tactics have become more varied, the types of enemies you'll face have also ramped up. They are bigger, tougher, more relentless, and more strategic. One new way to fight these enemies is using a new special combo attack. You can use this when you successfully surround an enemy unit. It's just one of a lot of new abilities. There's also a new boss that will really test you to use all of these new abilities well.
So we spent the last year working on the fundamentals of the tactical side of the game, but now we're really focusing on how to draw the player into the world. When you play a board game that uses thematic mechanical design, it can really immerse you in the game world, even without dialogue or cutscenes for storytelling, and we really wanted to lean into this kind of design in our game. We didn't want our characters to just be units to use in combat. We really wanted them to feel human, like broken people trying to hold on in a world that's really falling to pieces, to really try and capture their anger, frustration, and hopelessness. So in our game, our survivors' willpower manifests as a light that surrounds them, which can be seen by others using an in-world device. This light ebbs and flows based on the character's emotions, and it'll have various effects on gameplay like the player's visibility. In contrast to the human light, darkness is the cause of the creatures and can really be seen as the enemy. This darkness is engulfing the people and turning them into creatures which are kind of twisted reflections of the negative parts of humanity.
So, while we are making a game at heart, we also want to tap into some apocalypse feeling with our own the fictional medieval flavor, but not just as a window dressing, but something that player can experience directly. We are really working hard to make something that's worth the wait, and in the first half of the next year, we'll get it into your hands.